Hello and welcome to lesson 4 of week 4. In this lesson, we are going to look at maps in JavaScript. My name is Mildred. The map is a collection of key value pairs and they are similar to objects except that the keys in objects are strings or symbols, but the string in the map can be of any data type, alright? And map also preserves the insertion order of keys. So when we want to create a map, we use the new map keyword. So let's say const map is equal to new map like this and a pair of parentheses. We can create it with initial values when we say new map, and then we have a pair of square brackets, and then within the map we can have any data type for the key, any data type for the value. Alright, so we can have, for instance, we want to have a key named, so we put each key value pair will be in a pair of square brackets on its own. So let's say I want to have a key called 10, and then I want to have the value for that key to be 10. Okay, then I want to have, it's going to be a comma separated list. I want to have another one. Let's say I want to have a pair of empty curly braces like a set, and then I want to have value to say an object key like that. So a pair of curly braces like an object, and then an object. Then I can have string like age. So I'll put a pair of square brackets. I'll say age, and then I can have the value to be a number. Let's say 25. All right. And once you get to the end, then you can stop putting comma like that. So we can have a map created like this. All right. So let's say we don't want to create it this way, but before we take this off, let's do console.log. We want to log map to the console, and so when we come to our console there, we'll see the map 10, an object, key, age, everything printed out. So it takes any data type as the name of the key. We can do it a different way when we say constant map is equal to new map, and then we can use the set method to add. So you can see in the set we use the add method, but now we're going to use the set method. So you can say map.set, right? And in a pair of parentheses, we can now put, let's say name will be John. So this is going to be a semicolon here, and then map.set, we can have another key and another value. Let's say age, and let's put 30. We can also chain this. So we can say map.set, we can have A is 1, and then we'll say .set, we can have B2.set. So you can chain it like this, all right? C3. We can add new item. Let's say map.set, we want to have 10, and we want to have, I can continue here, .set, and I want to have the object type, and we'll say an object key. All right, so let's stop here, and when we look at map, and we'll see that it prints out everything that we have. Okay, so when we use the .set, it adds or updates a key value pair. So assuming we want to update the value of something that already exists, we can still use map.set and put the key and a new value like that. So when we want to retrieve values from a map in JavaScript, we use the .get method. So let's say we have the map here and I want to get the name. So instead of saying console.log map, I'll say map.get, and I only put the name of the key. So I'll say I want to get name like this. And so when I print out, I'm only going to get the name and not all of the key value pairs there, which is John. So we use the .get method to get stuff out. If it is not defined, let's say I want to get gender, for instance, and gender is not defined, we'll return undefined there because that key is not defined. We can return true if a key exists and false if it doesn't. Like I want to see if the key gender exists, so I'll say map.has, and when I refresh here to tell me false because it doesn't have gender. We can remove a key value pair by using the delete. So we can say map.delete, and we are going to delete, let's say we delete 10, or let's delete the set. So map.delete, we want to delete the empty set like this, and when let's delete it here, map.delete, and we'll specify the key we are deleting here, which is an empty pair of curly braces. All right, so this is the way we create map, and this is how we can use any data type for the key. When we want to remove all the entries, we just do map.clear and everything is deleted. If I do map.clear here like this, let's see, when we say map, we will have nothing there because we cleared everything out. We can check the size by using the size property, and we can do map.size here, and we have nothing because we cleared already. So when I say map.size, it will be 0. If I remove the clear, we're going to have 7 items here. So when I refresh, we have 7. So maps are iterables, unlike plain objects. Whenever we create a map, we can iterate through the map. We can use the for off loop. So how do we do for up in JavaScript? Let's try that. So we have all of these in the map, and we want to loop through all of the items and then do something. We can say for, and then in the pair of parentheses, so we want to get let key value. We want to loop through and print out the key and value. So we can say let key value, or you can give it any name you want for key and value. So let key value of the map. So the name of the variable is map. So let's key value of map, and then we want to have a pair of curly brace, and within it we want to do something. So let's say we just want to log. Let's say console.log. We want to log the key and the value. So we say key and value. So this way we are getting both key and value. So we say loop through the key value and print out the key and value like that. So when I refresh this, we will get key and value pairs printed, name John, age 30, A1, 10, 10, like that. Alright. So we can get keys only, but we can say let, for instance, we can say let key. So it can be any variable you want, but I use key. So say let key of map. So we use the .keys method like this to return only the keys. And here when you want to print out, we'll print out the key. Alright. So if here was, let's say you want to use I, and you're going to be printing out here I. Alright. So your iterator can be anything you want. You can name your iterator anything you want. So this will print out only the keys. And if you want values, you change this to values, and this will print out only the values. Alright. And when we refresh, we have only the values. But if you want to print out everything, we can use entries. So let's say for I, so let's make it like this. Let's say we want to put X for key, Y for value, map.entries, then we want to log X, Y, like that. Alright. So we can use entries like that, and we'll get the name and the value like that. So this, what we did, we can also use for each to do this too. Instead of the for of, we can use for each, and we can do it like this, map.for each, like this, and then we want to get the key value, or let's say for each key value. Let me do this on the same line. So we can, so for each key value, we want to use this arrow construct to return console.log. So map.for each key value, now we say console.log, and we log in the key and the value like that. So when we refresh, we will get key value logs like that. So the difference between the map and an object is that the type of key for the key for objects will be string or symbol, and then for map can be any data type. The key order is preserved. The insertion order of the key is preserved for map and is not guaranteed before ES6 for object. Then it is a direct iterable for map, and the object requires object.keys or similar to get an iterable. Then for performance, the map is optimized for key value operations, and the object is less optimized. The default key is none for map, and the object has prototype keys, inherited method. We want to convert between map and other structures. We can convert between a map and an array by using array.from like this. Let's say we want to convert from this map to one. So we can say let array or const array. Let's use the const keyword. Const array is equal to, we can now use array.from now from map. So you're converting this map to an array. Okay, the name of the variable that holds what you're converting. And so what we have here is an array. We can convert from array to map. When we have an array, we can convert to map by saying let's just say let new map be equal to new map, pair of parentheses. You're going to put double pair of square brackets to list your array in them. Alright, so you can convert from array to map. So each item will have its key and its value like that. We can convert from a map to an object, and you do that by say object.from. So the way we did this array here, we'll have object. So let's say constant, we want to get an object. So we'll say object.from, and we're object.from entries, object.from entries map, and this is going to convert this to an object. Alright, so we can convert from object to map, and what we do is when it's an object, let's say this is an object we want to convert to a map, we can now say let map, let's say let map object will now be equal to. So what we'll do here is to use map, and then in a pair of parentheses we'll put object dot entries like that, and then you pass in the object there. Alright, so this is how you convert from object to map. So you can refer to your lesson resource and see all the conversion between these different types. The practical use cases of map is when you have data with non-string keys like objects, or for the DOM elements, when you want to cache results of a function call, when you want to count frequencies of items in an array, when you want to preserve the insertion orders of the keys, when we want to handle large data sets efficiently. So when we want to count frequencies, we can let's use an example of counting frequencies. So let's say we have a map. Now let's have an array. Let's do an array. So we have an array here, and this array is an array of, let's say, fruits. So let's say we have apple, we have banana, we have oranges, we have apple, we have orange, we have strawberry. So let's have all of this in our array. We want to use a map to count the frequencies here. We can say let or count map will now be equal to new map. So we create an empty map, and we want to now loop through and count the frequency. So we say for, we're using the for loop for let's say let I, or let's say let fruit. You can use anything as your iterator. So I'll say let fruit. So for let fruit of array, we want to do something. So we say count map dot set. So we want to put this in the count map. So in the map that we have created. So count map dot set, we want to put the fruit, count map dot set fruit, and then count map dot get. So count map dot get fruit plus 1. So we're increasing the count. So it's going to have, so we use this set method to put, when it gets to an item, we want to increase that frequency of the item in the count map. So when we say console.log count map, we should get all of the frequencies of the item. So when we come here, we'll see apple 2, banana 1, oranges 1, orange 1, strawberry 1. So you can see how it does this. It prints the fruit as the key, and then for the value, it prints the frequency on it. It gets that fruit, and if it's on, and if it is already there, you add 1 to it. All right, so it increases the frequency. So this is where we end this lesson. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.